No, I ain't getting no money. I don't want more. I don't want more. I don't want more. I just want more. I done got too many scars. I'm tryna get off the bars. She gonna call me a star. Me and the Chris at the Mars. I'ma be live with a guard. We get to kick at the doors. I'm tryna be in the floors. Lost in a whole bar. Wait, I'm fucking till these sons hard. I'm fucking on Sonya. They get to calling me Lord. Speeding up in a LaCour. Rocking a Miriam Maury. I gotta tell every story. She wanna sweat me a Maury. She on my ball like a volley. You know I came from a volley. I like a Dennis Mortine. She get the spoon on Molly. I keep the walking and look at me. I'm mean. No, I ain't getting no money. I don't want more. I don't want more. I don't want more. I just want more. I done got too many scars. I'm tryna get off the bars. She gonna call me a star. Me and the Chris at the Mars. I'ma be live with a guard. We get to kick at the doors. I'm tryna be in the floors. Lost in a whole bar. I don't want more. I don't want more. I don't want more. I just want more. I done got too many scars. I'm tryna get off the bars. She's gonna call me a star. Me and the Chris at the Mars. I'ma be live with a guard. We get to kick at the doors. I'm tryna be in the floors. Lost in a whole bar. I'ma be live with a guard. I'm tryna be in the floors. I'ma be live with a guard. We get to kick at the doors. I'm tryna be in the floors. Lost in a whole bar. I'ma be live with a guard. We get to kick at the doors. I'm tryna be in the floors. Lost in a whole bar. No, I ain't getting no money. I don't want more. I don't want more. I don't want more. I just want more. I done got too many scars. I'm tryna get off the bars. She gonna call me a star. Me and the Chris at the Mars. I'ma be live with a guard. We get to kick at the doors. I'm tryna be in the floors. Lost in a whole bar. Wait, I'm fucking till these sons hard. I'm fucking on Sonya. They get to calling me Lord. Speeding up in a LaCour. Rocking a Miriam Maury. I gotta tell every story. She wanna sweat me a Maury. She on my ball like a volley. You know I came from a volley. I like a Dennis Mortine. She get the spoon on Molly.
We got the party on.
Whoa, my diamonds fighting for beers. Wait, I'm finna give me your yours. Wait, some of my bitches by kids. Whoa, I fucked her, I made her the lick. I fucked her, she just keep on vibing. I don't even know why I like it. Maybe cause she wanna go to the top, yeah. Man, fucking her, I'm on the shit for no bubble up. I get the rhyme with hunters. Wait, whoa, hunters. I just get that money, honest on it. So much fucking money, you know I'm on it. She get acting like she moving on. I thought the day on the phone. I get the round, wait, she get the slide up. I take her down, wait, they ain't minding us. You know, wait, they ain't finding us. Wait, hopping in, dropping mother. Then I'm on the dragon. Whoa, my diamonds be fighting for beers. Wait, I'm finna give me your yours. Wait, some of my bitches by kids. Whoa, I fucked her, I made her the lick. I fucked her, she just keep on vibing. I don't even know why I like it. Maybe cause she wanna go to the top, yeah. Man, fucking her, I'm on the shit for no bubble up. The love that we had, she let me in the past. She in my head, I'm going mad. Been on my meds, I'm going mad. Been on my meds, got me seeing red, they want me dead. Bro, in the feds got me like, damn, not again. Thinking about the love that you gave. I get no love, yeah, they hate me. All the shit I've been through made me. I got demons in my head, am I crazy? Dope sold out, trap sold out. It's a blowout, got my pole out. Let his chopper hit up and take his soul out. He a joke now, his package will be smoke now. I know TZ got, but I'm on a roll now. Tryna slow down, but I can't slow down. Wildberry woods with your hoe now. I keep smoking dope and man, my dope is so loud.
Zika.
What's good, chat? What's good, bro? What's good? I'm on the building, man. Salute Mike, salute Miss Chicago. What's good with y'all? How y'all doing? Taking a little intermission today, man. A little detour from the usual content, you feel me? So I like to kind of mix it up a little bit, you feel me? I don't want to oversaturate y'all with drama, you feel me? Got enough of that on a daily basis. Anyway, how y'all doing today, though? Y'all straight? Can y'all hear me good? My voice coming through clearly? Is the music too loud, or is it just right? Put a 1 in the chat. You feel me? We straight. Make sure y'all smash that like button. So we are finishing off the video on Archons. Basically, angelic entities of D&D, like overseers and stuff like that. It's the greater good, you know. So yeah, man, y'all tune in. For those of y'all, I want to bring this, you know what I'm saying, to the platform, you feel me? Because like everybody ain't doing this, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody got different interests. You know what I'm saying? And this is one of mine. So I just want to share that with y'all, you know. You just got all work. This perfect timing then, bro. You feel me? Go ahead and kick back, you know what I'm saying? Roll a little blunt, you feel me? Hey, man, we better get it to the Lord, bro. Finna do what it do. So y'all join us, man. Go ahead and get into the contents.
To be the last normal step that Archons can take in their journey. Now, these guys basically get to rule the towns and cities of Mount Celestia, as well as to...
Live. That should be good. 34.
be the judge of other Archons. Now, do keep in mind, it's sometimes hard to gauge the size of these creatures in the pictures, but please note that these guys are like 12 feet tall and weigh over 700 pounds. They're huge. Their skin is golden, and they carry weapons that are made out of the very spiritual essence of the Archon. Their armor was basically a beautifully golden suit of plate armor that radiated golden magic. Now, as far as the lore has told us, the 7 heavens of Mount Celestia are separated into 196 provinces, and a throne Archon would basically rule over each of those provinces, with each city within it having their own other throne Archon as well, who would rule over it. Now, technically, this is as far as normal Archons will go, because the next stage is basically limited in how many of them there can be. See, the next stage of evolution would have the Throne Archon turn into a Tome Archon, but the law.
So a lot of y'all probably done missed this. Like, we 16 minutes in. Like, he brought up a lot of stuff, bro. Basically, Mount Celestia is a place. It's the afterlife, bro. But imagine a place with never-ending growth. Just as you think that you're done, you at the end of your mortal coil, you spawn on the other end of the light, right? Like, you did all of that being good and pure-hearted and everything, and you made it to heaven. But you at the first level, so you still have to, like, evolve. Like, you still have to keep persevering and shit, and build upon your character until you are absolutely, like, pure-hearted. That's basically what Mount Celestia functions as. It's like a growth simulator, low-key.
Dictate that there can only ever be 7 Tome Archons in existence, and unless one of those that already exist dies and then needs to be replaced, no new Tome Archons will ever be created. So this is it. This is the end place for all Archons. This is where they want to be. So each of these guys is meant to rule over each of the 7 layers of Celestia, and in terms of power, they are considered to be a Celestial Paragon, which is a whole category. It basically means that they are as strong as a Demon Lord or a Devil Prince. So a demon who reaches maximum power in the Abyss is called a Demon Lord. A devil that reaches maximum power in the Nine Hells is called a Devil Prince. And so, well, a Celestial that reaches, maximum power in the upper planes is called a Celestial Paragon. And these guys are it. And because they are in this category, just how it is for Devil Princes and Demon Lords, each of these guys is unique in form. And because there's only always 7, we actually know the name of each of them. So the name of the 7 as a unity is called the Celestial Hebdomad, which in essence, I guess, could be considered to be the name of the government of Celestia, if you want to put it that way. But anyways, here are the Celestial Paragons of Mount Celestia. This is Barachiel, the Messenger. He's the ruler of the first mountain, Lunia. He's considered to be the herald of the 7, the leader of all of the defenses of Mount Celestia, since of course, he rules over the first mountain, which is where any kind of invasion would occur if there ever was one. He's also the leader of all of the Trumpet Archons, so his fortress is kind of like ground zero for all of the resurrections that happen for any lawful good soul.
They need to make a game about this, bro. Like, for real, bro. They need to make a whole MMO RPG about this shit. Because it's so much lore to go into this, bro. Like, just imagine being able to play, like, these different life paths, bro. You could be a human, an angel and servant of a greater god, a spirit passing along or whatever. You can literally be whatever you want to be in the end.
And hence, he is considered to be also the patron of basically any kind of interaction with mortals. So anything that has to do with spreading goodness in the mortal realm, generally Barachiel is the lead celestial on that front. Now, this here is Domiel, the Mercy Bringer, ruler of Mercuria, the second mountain. And we don't know much about him, and many of the other paragons, of course, because, well, they don't quite deal much with the mortal realm like Barachiel does. He, however, rules over an enormous golden tower, and one of his main jobs is to protect the mausoleums of the second mountains, which is where all of the records and bodies of all of the dead celestials of the realm are located. Here we have Eretheol, the seer who rules over Venia, the third mountain. They are considered to be the patron of seers and a powerful seer itself, of course. And they keep track of events that unfold in the multiverse.
Y'all, look at this artwork, bro. Look at this artwork. You can tell the artists, like, they love what they're doing, bro. You can tell, bro. You can tell. But look at the details, bro. The life poured into it. All these different designs.
And catalogs important events on the massive celestial libraries of the mountain. Now, this one is Pistis Sophia, known as the Ascetic. She rules over Solania, the fourth mountain. She's considered to be a patron of monks and mystics, and so, as you can...
Oh, yeah. Shout out to MrRHEXX. Y'all go sub to him. Like, he's a pretty booming YouTuber on here. He do D&D content. He makes these lore videos, and I'm reacting to it. I want to make this a series, bro. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to MrRHEXX. Hopefully, you don't flag me for using your content. Fair use, fair use.
imagine she fights with her own body and fists. Now, her whole thing is that she espouses getting rid of all possessions and then live a life with nothing as a way to find contentment and happiness. In fact, she does not even rule from a keep or a tower. She truly does not own anything. Here's Raziel, the Crusader. He rules over Mertion, the fifth heaven. Now, Razier's main focus was opposing oppression and tyranny, as well as defending the innocent. See, the fifth mountain is where a lot of the training happens in Celestia, and where a lot of the forces are mustered for all of the planar battles that happen in the multiverse. So Raziel would be the perfect paragon to lead that layer. Now, here we have Sealtiel, the Defender, who rules over Jovar.
Toby said, "I'm here to support, but I don't know any of this." Man, hey, bro, you gotta start somewhere. You feel me? I mean, D&D came out in the 80s, I think, the early 80s, mid 80s. It started as a little board game, turned into some books. They got a few little mini games out here now. The universe is getting expensive. I ain't lying. But salute, Toby, man. Appreciate you for pulling up, though. Y'all about to learn. You know what I'm saying? Stay seated. You feel me? Pay attention.
Are the sixth heaven. Now, he's considered to be the defender of the seven heavens and leads the biggest army of the mountain. See, unlike Barakiel, who's in charge of the front lines, Sealtiel is the last bastion of defense for the protection of the seventh and most important mountain, which is, of course, the tip of the mountain. But further, it is his job to protect the portals between the layers, as he was the leader of all of the Warden Archons. But then, the last and the most powerful Archon of them all is Safkiel, the Watcher, who, of course, not just rules over Cronius, the tip of the mountain, but also rules over the celestial heptamet, over all of the seven. His skin was gold and his wings were platinum. He was bathed at all times in this beautiful, holy, radiant path.
That looks like a black man. I ain't lying, bro. Doesn't that look like a black man to y'all? Don't that look like a black man? If I had wings, I'd leave my wife quickly. Damn, Toby. Toby, what if your wife in the chat right now? Well, she probably not, but what the hell, bro? I thought you was finna say if I had wings, I would find a wife. I mean, because if you had wings, that's something that other niggas don't have, you know? A lot of women want something different, want to experience something different. So if you can fly, that'll be a game changer right there. That's how I look at it, at least. Oh, shit.
Hour. Now, it is believed, actually, that just how Demogorgon was the very first soul to enter the abyss, Safkiel was the very first lawful good soul to enter the seven heavens. In fact, the first seven souls to enter were automatically blessed.
So it's confirmed. Okay, so if you are a lawful good person, I guess, in your human life, you may ascend to become an angel. And this guy right here, this looks like a black man to me. This man is probably black, judging off just the looks and all of that. That's a black guy that just so happened to be ascended into an angel. Let's keep going.
And granted with the powers of the Tome Archons, but out of those original seven, the only one that is still alive to this day is this guy, Safkiel. The others have, of course, perished throughout the eons of battles. Now, this guy does not fight with weapons. Instead, his very presence typically destroys fiends, but when not, he could project a damaging ray of holy energy from stigmatas on his hands. Now, this guy, Safkiel, is something of an enigma as far as his motives. The only thing that the lore shows is that he protects what he calls vessels of pure innocence. So, for example, babies. He will always go out of his way to protect babies and will care for them. But whatever happens on the seventh mountain is just, frankly, much of an enigma to most people. In fact, and you might find this interesting, not even Tyr, one of the most powerful gods that reside on Mount Celestia, even...
So he protects children. That's a pretty noble duty to have, I guess. No child will probably suffer under his gaze. You gotta understand, bro. In this universe, these type of beings, bro, can gaze down from the heavens, probably light years and miles away onto the plane of Earth and observe life itself. Like in these stories, bro, they be having angels following children their entire life, like all the way up until adulthood. They have guardian angels up here, literally, that function as like their own character, but in the background.
Knows what Safkiel does on that last tip of the mountain. In fact, it is believed that his existence, Safkiel's, is more theoretical than anything, as in the only people that have actually seen this man and have lived are the other Tomarkans, and then, some of the few gods that have. This, of course, has a lot to do with what happens when you reach the pinnacle of the mountain where he's located, and the fact that no one ever comes back. But that is the topic of another video. If you're interested in turning your characters into an Archon, know that you might not be able to do much as a Lantern Archon since, well, they are just floating orbs. But if you found a way to make your character into any other kind, we actually have stats that player characters would gain through this transformation. An Archon player character would gain immunity to lightning and petrification. They would gain resistance to mundane weapons and against poison. They could shoot holy light out of their body that deals 1d6 points of radiant damage at a range of 30 feet. They would gain the spells Aid, Continual Flame, and Detect Evil, which they could cast at will. And lastly, they would get access to a select group of high-level spells like Magic Circle, Teleport, and Tongues, which they could cast only a few times a day. As an Archon, you would be one of the only kinds of planar practitioners who would be able to leave their plane to go out and explore an adventure, though of course, that is still highly frowned upon. You're supposed to climb the mountain, damn it. The relationship between the Archons and the gods is a bit mysterious to us. The Archons happily work for many of the gods and would share and gain much from this work, but Archons do so willingly. They're not really servants of the gods as much as they are their very own thing, which happens to align with the purposes of the gods. And you should always think of Archons like Modrons or like demons and devils. They're just the natural occurrence of souls reaching the outer planes and then interacting with the philosophical power of the plane in which they land. Good and evil are energies. They are power. Law and chaos are also.
So essentially, these beings are creatures essentially molded by the chaotic energies of the planes that they end up reincarnating in. And I feel like that has a lot to do with how you live your life as a human, as a person in your mortal coil before you ascend or descend. It looked like either way, like if you were a very bad person, you can be very useful to the Nine Hills, apparently. It's a very evil, despicable person, just like the SVS sector, bro. You might end up somewhere in the Nine Hills. But if you are a good, pure-hearted paragon, hey, you ascend and you become like a protector, bro, of philosophical proportions. Can't even talk today, bro. What's good, CX 2.0? What's good with you, bro? What's happening with y'all?
Energies and powers. When a vessel is influenced by these concepts, they change their shape and become manifestations of those powers. The gods have actually nothing to do with this, save perhaps for a neutral god of death, which might funnel the transit of souls from place to place. But yeah, anyways, angels are direct creations of the upper gods, and so they are beholden to them. In so much,
bro, this artwork is crazy, chat. Look at this artwork, bro. Don't it look like it's just about to pop out the screen on you?
Much as they stay within the upper planes, but Archons are their own power. They are their own individual group. And so is the mountain its own individual source of power, separated from the gods. And the Archons, after all, are manifestations of that mountain and will fight to protect the mountain, perhaps even against the gods who might dwell within it. Today, we talked about the basic essence of what the seven heavens are, and we focused hard on the Archons. But in our next video, we will talk about what it actually means to be in Mount Celestia, and what would a player character do when they first arrive here. And we will talk about the effects of the mountain. We will talk about some of the more philosophical paths that one might take in order to self-perfect and reach enlightenment, and of course, the main reason.
Yeah, we're finna watch that next, chat. Yeah, we're finna watch that.
And why everyone fails on the fourth mountain, which is really interesting. You won't believe who's in there stopping people from reaching enlightenment. It's really cool. All right, guys, thank you.
Bro has a very nice vibe to his channel too. That's why I'm sub, bro. He got the music on cue and everything, bro. Everything down from the artwork to the commentary. What they don't tell you about.
I wonder, would a real-life RPG application be cool?
Today is the big day, and we have already done 2 other videos literally just in preparation for this one. Our big tentpole topic, of course, is the 7 heavens of Mount Celestia, but before we could even wrap our heads around this realm, we first needed to talk about its inhabitants, which of course are the Archons, which we did a video on, and then we had to talk about the purpose of the mountain and what people do in here, which was our last video.
So I guess right here, he's going to be giving the specifics on like the functions of the heavens or whatever in the Dungeons and Dragons, and how, like, you know, politics and all that stuff.
Now that we have done all of that, we can actually go ahead and talk about the locations within the mountain. Today, we're going to delve mega deep into each of the 7 mountains. We will talk about the locations that you can find in there, we will talk about the gods and the realms, and we'll explore some of the deepest secrets of the mountains that you probably have never heard from before. Before we do that, I would like to remind you guys of this really cool thing that I have created. I have made a PDF myself. I worked for a couple of months on piecing together as much information as I felt like you guys would need in order to not just run a draconic adventure, but also...
I'm sorry, Rex. I'm gonna have to skip this promotion, bro. I ain't lying.
And you start on the first layer, and you must climb the mountain in order to reach the other ones. One on this nifty little button here, it'll take you straight over into the shop. You cannot miss it. Just scroll down and you will see it. But now, back to the video. Mount Celestia has 7 heavens, which colloquially people call 7 mountains. In reality, it is just a single, unbelievably massive mountain that is separated into 7 layers, or first layer, and you must climb the mountain in order to reach the other ones, one by one. Each layer is its own thing, with its own characteristics, its own powers, and its own group of different people which congregate within them. All of them, of course, beautiful and vibrant in their own way, so without further ado, let's begin. Lunia is the first layer of Mount Celestia, and the place where every single person who enters this plane gets to start in. We've already covered most of it in our previous video, so I won't go too crazy on it, but basically this realm is the bottom of the mountain. The mountain itself is on a big island with harbor towns and beaches and a massive sea made out of fresh...
Bruh. And it's kind of like, if you ever just imagine what heaven would be like, I imagine it would be multiple places. It would probably just be this big giant expanse, much like what they're showing right now in this picture right here. Fun fact: comic books, mythology, sci-fi movies, X-Men, Avengers, etc. refer to melanated people's knowledge and wisdom and powers we had eons ago. Word. Man, I be paying attention, man. We getting some little Easter eggs in media, bro. If you really pay attention, man, the black man has representation out here, even in mythology, bro. Even some of the oldest stories ever told. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button coming in, man. Shit. Where my people at, though, bro? We got 2 in the chat. You feel me? What's going on? Okay. Where y'all at, though? Where my people at, bro? You feel me? Don't make me have to come looking for you now. I'll pull up, nigga. It's pull up season, nigga.
Holy water and tons of islands that dot that sea. Lunia is the closest layer to the astral, and because of that, it has been described as looking very similar to it. The sky is dark with a full moon and completely filled with beautiful stars that illuminate the realm. The sun never comes out here. Now, on the sea, you can find vibrant communities of sea elves which live underwater alongside their celestial dolphins and celestial whales. And there's an entire new race of creature that can only be found here on Mount Celestia, which are the Silveri. They're basically kind of like a half-elf,
And sometimes I know this is supposed to be a work of fiction, but you got to understand, somebody sat down and mapped this entire thing out. Somebody mapped this entire thing out and came up with the names and everything, bro. And sometimes I just be thinking, bro, what if this actual place is real, just in a different dimension? And this is the only way the writer or whatever, the creator, can kind of give us that knowledge without being open about it and getting in trouble or some shit. You feel me? Just a little conspiracy.
Octopus, and they effectively make it their job to try and make sure that people don't drown when they teleport into the plane. They will help you even if you're a devil or a demon. Now, some of the islands that dot the sea are massive, and the constructions on them sometimes are just as big. It has been described that some of those fortresses on those islands can be literally miles long. But now let's talk about one of the biggest towns that you can find in here. This is actually something that we did not mention on our last video. There's a town called Heart's Faith. Quote, trust is everywhere, and the state of grace fills every street and tavern of the town. Robbery, duels, and rage are dispelled by the simple joys of Heart's Faith. Everywhere are window boxes, cobblestones, and sparkling fountains. Dogs do not growl. Children may whine and complain, but they never scream. And elders are respected. No one...
Yo, this is straight out of the Bible, bro. Chat, this is straight out of the Bible right here. This is straight out of the Bible. You cannot tell me otherwise.
locks their doors or bars their windows, end quote. The town is built on a steep cliffside by the shore of the ocean. In fact, it was so close to the ocean that its central plaza was often flooded at high tide. Of course, it has a tremendously popular harbor which holds ships which would take people over into the other upper planes through magical portals found on the sea. A passage towards Bytopia or Elysium would cost you around 150 gold pieces, so generally pretty cheap. To the Beastlands in Arborea would cover you 500 gold pieces, and then all the way to Isgard would be a whooping 2 grand. Generally speaking, though, the leaders of the town would try and, of course, dissuade people from leaving. Remember that the goal, of course, is to promote planners to take on the spiritual path up the mountain, not to send them away. Now, in towns like these, you would see a lot of people that would sell holy water, of course, as you can imagine, but also any equipment that you would need in order to actually go up and hike the mountain, including cold weather gear that you would most definitely need. I should mention that there are seasons even up in here in heaven, which are regulated by some of the higher ranked archons on the area. They basically get to decide what it is going to be, but they keep it, of course, orderly since
this place actually existed, bro. I would feel way more comfortable like having a loved one pass away, or at least, and you know that loved one was cherished and loved. You know they're going to a good place. You know they are probably watching. You know what I'm saying? There's a sense of solace that you would get, a sense of relief, knowing that this place is out there, and your loved ones or people that you may have lost might end up here. You know what I'm saying? They still on a path of growth. They are still learning and shit. You feel me? That's pretty dope. But let's continue.
A lawful plane after all. And just because it is heaven, also remember that you can still suffer and die. Keep that in mind. You need to get your gear and be ready for anything. Without physical toil, how could you even expect to perfect yourself? Now, we've already done too much on Lunia, so we're going to move on to Mercuria, the Golden Heaven. This heaven is described as being a heaven of, well, mountains. The place is filled with very large mountains, though instead of having peaks, they instead form plateaus at the top where most of the cities are actually located. The lore states that the air here is very thin, which takes some getting used to, but this very thin air makes the body giddy and tingly. The most interesting sights within this heaven are the massive mausoleums that lay in here, where the Celestials inter their saints and their soldiers. It is a very important location because of that, and they celebrate their dead through an annual remembrance called the Day of Memory, where they have a fantastic day filled with feasts. Mercuria also happens to be the place where the armies of Mount Celestia would muster in the case of an attack, and so it is also known as the Armory of the Mountain, where presumably many of the legendary weapons and armors are stored for the purposes of, any divine war. The whole heaven here is actually suffused with a golden light coming from the sky, which grants the mountain the moniker of the Golden Heaven. Now, one of the most interesting locations within Mercuria, and you're gonna love this, is the roaming castle of Bahamut, the god of dragons. I do want to stress this though, Bahamut does not live in a realm inside of the mountain. He lives in the actual Mercuria on his floating keep. Many of the gods that you will see in this mountain will have their own sort of separated realm that is very distinct from the mountain. That is not the case with Bahamut. He lives in the actual thing. So you can just find him and see him going around. Now, the keep is called Bahamut's Palace, and it is described as a glittering wonder that is built entirely of a hilariously enormous treasure hoard.
Okay, so we're gonna have a lot to talk about on the channel, bro. We're gonna have a whole lot to talk about. But Bahamut is literally, he's the lawful good, like, I wouldn't say god. Well, he kind of like the king of dragons, but he's like technically a god of dragons. No, is he the first? No, because he has his sister. Him and his sister Tiamat. Some of y'all have heard of the name Tiamat from Egyptian lore, but Tiamat is like how many heads? Like, she got like 6 heads of different colorations, and she's like the mother of all evil dragons or whatever. Bahamut is the father of all good aligned dragons. So there is always a spectrum. There is a moral spectrum in D&D. You feel me? Boom, bam.
It has windows of gemstones, settings of gold and silver, walls of inlaid copper and ivory, the floors of beaten mithril. It's amazing. Now, what makes this place even more interesting is that it is never in the same place, since it travels on a massive howling whirlwind. But the cool thing about that is that this palace is virtually the only thing in the mountain that can freely travel within the different heavens of the mountain. The palace is said to, in fact, exist simultaneously on the first 4 heavens of Mount Celestia. And nobody actually knows how Bahamut does this. In fact, the lore even describes it that not even the gods know how he does this, because he breaks all the known rules of the mountain. That being said, many of the gold dragons that live within the keep do their best to help pilgrims hike up the mountain in the normal way, and some the abnormal way. See, Bahamut's palace appears to be the only shortcut that exists in Mount Celestia, a way for a person to skip many of the layers. The floating palace has access to portals that connect all of the first 4 layers, so technically, provided that you give Bahamut a proper tribute of treasure, he might just let you take one of those portals. Though keep in mind that even though this might help you to shortcut yourself all the way up into the 4th layer, good luck actually reaching spiritual enlightenment this way, and good luck trying to reach any of the higher heavens. Shortcuts are not the way to do this. Venia, the pearly heaven. This heaven gets its moniker.
Nigga said no cheating, bro. How you gonna cheat in heaven, bro? How you gonna do all of that, be good and everything, just so you can get there and cheat, nigga? Or hell, it look like they can act. Some people can access heaven and they're not even dead yet, so you just there, kind of. I don't know why you just there though. Make sure y'all hit that like button, man. Hit that cat.
From what is described as a nacreous glow coming from the sky, which sounds like a bad word, but it means white and iridescent. So it gets like a pearly colored shine that it looks.
Oh, so this is technically like the saying of the pearly gates and everything, but literally the pearly gates for real. Like this whole atmosphere is just pearly white looking.
Illuminates everything. The mountains in here are rounded with rarely ever a spot that does not possess green and luscious forests. You will find tons of meadows and wildernesses that seem to teem with beautiful, vibrant greens. One of the most interesting sites within Venia is the fabled glass tarn. So a tarn is basically a massive mountain lake, and this one is supposed to be just about half frozen by the icy tops of the tall mountains. This particular tarn is fabled because it is divinely enchanted, and most of the properties are still to be discovered. It is believed that deep within it lies many portals that lead out of the heaven and into other planes of reality, like a one-way trip into the astral, to the plane of water, or to any other watery places around the multiverse. And no one has been able to fully explore the deepness of the lake and chart the locations of this portal, so most of it is just unknown. But the really
Nigga, that is crazy. I'm not getting in that water, bro. I'm good, bro. I might would take a sip or something, you know what I'm saying, to taste the properties of the water. The water probably tastes sweet. You feel me? Got them heaven minerals and that shit. You feel me? But yeah, I'm not getting in the water, you know. Take a bird bath in the water. I ain't finna submerge myself. You heard what he just said. You could end up in the water dimension. And last I heard, humans can't breathe underwater, bro. So I'm good, bro.
interesting thing about this particular lake is that it is a holy place of pilgrimage because of its potent divination powers. As a pilgrim, you are supposed to offer the lake a tribute, after which a beautiful light will start shining from the deepest recesses of the lake. The light will travel upwards towards the shore until it reaches you. If you are worthy, then the light will grant you a divine vision. But if you're not, then the light will turn out to be a sword archon whose task would be then to scold you and chase you away. So yeah, people come in here.
That is beautiful and scary as hell at the same time. Imagine, chat. You going out there to the lake, you feel me? You doing your little prayers or whatever. And then you got see a glow at the bottom of the lake. You don't really know what they expect, and a motherfucking angel come just from under the water, you feel me, and start cussing you out, bro, and start telling you that why are you here? You are undeserving, you're unworthy. You need to work harder. Like, come back when you deserve a blessing. Oh, stop.
Here to experience powerful prophecies, clairvoyances, and mystic trances. Of course, an incredibly pivotal location to explore if the path to enlightenment that you chose in order to climb the mountain was one of knowledge and study. Now, one of the most powerful godly pantheons in Dungeons & Dragons is set within Venia, the Green Fields, which you should recognize because, well, that is the heaven of the halflings. The whole philosophy of the Green Fields is, quote, life is a series of small comforts, and hospitality is the greatest duty of any civilized creature. Defense of hearth and home is the only worthwhile cause for war, and a sensible cotter don't go wandering the countryside. She stays at home and tends to her garden and her obligations. Mind what the neighbors say, end quote. The domain is a combination of borrowed households and small rustic buildings. It's just how you would know them to be. But it is said that only the faithful can ever find.
Bro, I could live in a place like this, bro. I could live in a place like that. All that green, bro, sunshine and grass and fields and water and shit. Yeah.
The entrance that leads into the Green Fields, and those who find themselves there never return. Well, because it is just that awesome. It is described that the place is just so warm and welcoming and filled with such comfort that nobody ever really wants to leave. Quote, Green Fields has no single dominating town, though it is well settled with many villages, hedgerows, busy windmills, and small garden plots. The largest and best kept settlements are Candlewood, Marston on Water, Thistledowns, Amberwell, Turtle Creek, and Bonberry Hills. All of them are much alike, though they are fiercely proud of their differences. Each is built around a central square surrounding a huge and ancient tree, each tree being of a different species, a sort of mascot for the town, end quote. Now, the interesting bit about this realm, which you don't see anywhere else, is the halfling.
Make sure y'all smash that like button coming in, man. Hey, you feeling generous? Hit that cash up. I appreciate you. Enjoy the content.
Rule of eye for an eye. Anyone that harms a petitioner of the halfling pantheon within this realm suffers in proportion to the injury done to the innocent. Quote, wounds are identical, and any that kills a halfling petitioner instantly suffers Yondala's wrath, losing youth and vigor rapidly until the evildoer is a mere husk, then dust. End quote. Keep in mind that
they got instant justice in this dimension. You better not move wrong in here. It looked like in heaven, it looked like it's sanctioned off like there will be no negative nothing in here, bro. You will be gone. I mean, that's how it should be. You feel me? You done live your human life until you finally passed away. All right, when you get to heaven, things should be pretty different. What's good? Meek in the building. Hey, everyone heard heading to work, listening in. That's what's up, man. Appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Just coming with some little different kind of entertainment. This type of stuff will make your imagination just, expand, brighten up a little bit, and make you think of things you never really thought about before.
the rules of Mount Celestia are a bit different than the rules of some of the lower planes. A spirit or a petitioner that dies on Mount Celestia does not die for real. They only die permanently if they die outside of the realm, which of course is the opposite from, devils and demons. Though this is a very specific thing from Mount Celestia that does not necessarily apply to any of the other upper planes. So as a petitioner, dying in here, not a big deal. Now, one thing that you will find amusing is that the Green Fields is the inventor of the carts of holding, which are just like normal wagon carts or simple ox-driven carts that are enchanted with being able to carry up to 4,000 pounds of material that it weighs only a tenth of its normal weight. The place is also known throughout the multiverse as the place for food, teas, tobaccos, and clothing. They also have excellent mineral springs. Also, Yondala, one of the most powerful gods in the multiverse, so do not mess with her. She slaps. Solania, the Electrum Heaven. Now, so far, we have enjoyed some beautiful.
Hey, you seeing her little ass too? She look like she ain't playing. You feel me? Let me go back a little bit. Oh, I don't want to go back too far.
Food, teas, tobaccos, and clothing. They also have excellent mineral springs. Also, Yondala, one of the most powerful gods.
Yeah, she little as hell, bro. I don't, regardless of her stature, I wouldn't fuck with her neither, bro. She ain't come to play no games, bro. You see that stance, bro? You see the uniform, you feel me? The conviction on her face, she's about that shit for real. Like, don't come to her heaven playing them games, bro. Right? You feel me?
Gods in the multiverse, so do not mess with her. She slaps. Solania, the Electrum Heaven. Now, so far, we have enjoyed some beautiful vistas, some crazy awesome locations, and just generally some good vibes. And so, coming from the Green.
Meek said, what if the behavior starts now and determines when and where you enter? That's a confusing one. I ain't lying. I mean, I guess it depends, man. Like, because in this universe, it seems like if you serve, like, some people are just good-hearted and they don't like outright serve a god by name all the time, but you'll still end up in a good place because you were a righteous person. But I guess in a way, it depends on how you are, I guess, like your spirit, because it seems like Mount Celestia and everything is conscious of all of that. Like, this place is a living realm. What's good, CC? Like, this place is alive in a way to where it like kind of guides you and low-key punishes you, but not for like, you know what I'm saying? Not in an evil way, but it's trying to show you growth and everything. Experience hardships and everything in order to, benefit from that place.
Green Hills into this might give you a bit of a whiplash. Solania is heavy mountain ranges all over the place, but these mountains are filled with fog and mists. The mountains are hard to climb, with many treacherous passages filled to the brim with ice peaks, tons of impassable knee-deep mud trenches, tons of deadly avalanches and rock slides that will kill you in an instant, and the worst of all, no end in sight for any pilgrim who wishes to pass on to the next heaven.
You know what? That's why, like, in places like this, I'd rather just be able to fly. Bump all that trudging through snow, mountains, and steep hills and everything, and people getting frostbite. I'm good, bro. You know, that's one of my fears, man. Like absolute, like absolute, just Iceland everywhere. What's good, Cutting Edge in the building? What's happening with you, bro? Got some D&D, man. Dungeons and Dragons lore by MrRHEXX.
See, we talked about this in our last video that, well, this is the place where most pilgrims tend to stay at for the longest, described as the mountain with the highest giving up percentages of all. Because of the strong ice that forms on these extremely tall mountains, most of the passages and trails are completely shut down throughout most of the year with snow and ice.
So this place is I guess for nomads, people who like traveling or whatever, and you know, going to the most dangerous places for no damn reason. Pilgrims go to places like this, nigga. Oh, good. And it seems like this realm is pretty much is tailored to that kind of, like, you know, ideology.
And so typically you can only pass during the very short period of spring and summer. However, the big reward is that these mountains are chock full of valuable minerals and gems, which makes this place a particular favorite to dwarves. And someone even goes so far as to say this is the dwarf heaven, which is both a subjective comment and an objective reality, since the actual dwarf heaven is also here. The dwarvish pantheon, also called the Mordine Salmon, has a realm in Solania called Rakinor, and this is typically where Muradin and Bernard live. Quote, Moradin lives within a vast mountain, the dark of which not even other deities know. Dwarf petitioners speak in hushed tones of the stonework and craftsmanship within Moradin's home, which far surpasses anything that they could ever hope to make. When the forge is...
Moradin is supposed to be like the progenitor god of the dwarves, and you know, dwarves in all fiction, all forms of fiction, they always are very crafty. They always good at building stuff. They can build massive machines, magical portals, like anything you could possibly think of, dwarves can do. And essentially they get that gift, that God-given talent literally comes from Mordrin.
Isn't used, the rush of his bellows roars like a dragon's fire, end quote. Now, this peculiar realm is interesting because it is by itself kind of a realm in the sense that Moradin can manipulate it and control it, but it is also directly a part of Solania itself. See, let me explain this further. See, Bahamut is special because he just chooses to live outside in the mountain like any other person would. He just moves around the mountain as he desires. Moradin and his pantheon are also unique, but for a different reason. He has somehow taken a part of the mountain and claimed dominion over it, which no other god has been able to do. Gods just create their own realm within the mountain. This is different. Many godly realms are separated from the layer in which they are housed, but Rakinor is basically the entirety of the underground of Solania. The realm is a massive interconnected series of tunnels and cities that exist under the realm. And think of it as the underdark of this heaven, except extremely beautiful with impossibly impeccable works of stone masonry. Now, the special feature of all of Solania is that the art of creation is enhanced in here. Anything that you create or craft with magic is empowered. So in terms of effect, you could craft things twice as fast or create twice as many of whatever it is that you're doing, and the stuff that you create will last for twice as long. And this, however,
bro, that is so dope, bro. This is engineering heaven right here. Like anybody that like working with their hands, bro, and creating anything, this is the heaven for you. And that's what I like about this universe too, bro. This place is tailored to your needs, bro. Whatever hobbies that you might have. And you just heard what he said, right? You probably create double of what you intentionally meant to make. Like whatever you create has a form of life to it, or you're essentially putting life into what you're making.
does not take into consideration the art of enchanting, since you're, well, not really creating something as much as you're simply improving something. Now, what this creates is a heaven where almost any construction of stone, metal, or cut gemstones are available here for far, far less than anywhere else, probably on the multiverse. And it is not just cheap, of course, it is also impeccably made by the master smiths of the area. The dwarves in here, however, will not sell their best stuff to planet travelers. They reserve that for the Archons and the other petitioners. The caveat to this place, though, is that cloth is extremely rare and typically about 5 times the price. And you would probably have to go back to the green fields in order to get some of that good cloth. Now, there's, of course, tons that we could talk about in the heavens of the dwarves, but we don't really have that much time to delve in here. See, that was a pun. Anyways, the most important thing that you absolutely must know is that Arachnor is the location of the fabled Soul Forge, which is a mythical forge from which the dwarves were originally created. Quote, the dwarf theologists state with some conviction that it is the heart of the Soul Forge with which Moradin tempers the spirits of his people and their weapons that provides the warmth for this layer of the heavens. The chant is that the smoke from his foundry becomes the mist that hangs in the vales. Moradin and Berinar are served by dwarf petitioners similar to those in Clangegon's host, with the exception that their intended purpose is not battle, but building and forging and testing and bettering the race of dwarves. The Soul Forge is the birthplace of the dwarves, where their 7 fathers were forged, and where Moradin breathes life into each dwarf. Some believe that it is also where petitioners return to oneness with the plane.
Bruh, that is insane, bruh. That is insane, my guy. Like, his whole thing is crafting, even down to crafting, like, it's all just linked together, bro. They all are just a part of some big conglomerate.
The chant is the forge appears in dreams to those who are chosen to serve the dwarf father. End quote. The forge itself is described as being a massive towering block of mithril about 40 feet tall, conjoined with a pool of molten soul fire, and then a full wall of pure ice. Moradin is typically found here by the Soul Forge, where he oversees the creation of dwarves, and then the subsequent delivery of those newly created dwarf spirits into the prime material realm where they are meant to be born. So effectively, the Soul Forge doubles as a dwarf creator and a portal into...
Bro, that is so beautiful, bro. I can't even lie. What a beautiful concept. It had, like, so the children are being made, the babies are made in this heaven, and I guess they come to the parents from beyond, I guess, if that makes sense.
To the impossibly large number of worlds in the multiverse. Through this forge, Moradin can send dwarves into any world he desires. But further, and I find this very interesting, the lore actually states that Moradin can turn normal creatures into dwarves by effectively reshaping them through the forge. Now, any dwarf...
Hey, this nigga more than like that, bro. Hey, he really like that, bro. Bro, he remaking people now? Oh, yeah.
Can actually use the anvil, but of course, its divine properties are reserved solely for Moradin. When Moradin is not present, there's typically a long line of very influential smiths who sign up for the usage of the forge for enchanting or crafting purposes, and this is totally normal. Moradin loves to exemplify the notion that you should always be working and creating, and so he doesn't hoard the legendary Soul Forge just for himself, and in fact, lets others use it. Its main philosophy is, quote, ceaseless toil.
Hey, bro, that's what's up, bro. Hey, bro, salute. I'm about to like he a real person, but look, you gotta apply that kind of logic to this. That's what's up, bro. Not only is he humble, bro, he let niggas use his workstation too. He lets other people use his workstation to create life.
And labor's the only fit occupation for a worthy soul. Fire tempers spirits, and work brings wisdom. Seek to forge strength within, and the need for outer strength will vanish. End quote.
That's what he said, bro. That's words to live by right there. We got a damn ad.
Hi there. I'm Encore from the Black.
Mertion, the Platinum Heaven. Coming from Selenia, this place will be a wonder because you don't have to deal with sharp peaks or terrible cold any longer. Instead, you're welcomed by the beautiful silver sky that burns bright, combined with gorgeous sweeping plains dominated by huge imposing citadels. See, Mertion is the marshalling grounds for all manner of paladins, sword archons, divas, and any kind of servant of good and law who wishes to train. If you ever wondered where you would ever need to go in order to, sign into the armies of the heavens alongside other angels and archons in order to fight against evil, then this would be the place. Many of the citadels built.
Hey man, where I sign up at, bro? Hey, email me, man. Send me some paperwork. You feel? I'm trying to join up, bro. I bet they got better damn benefits than the U.S. got now. Shit.
here are built right beside portals that lead into all kinds of front lines all across the multiverse. One of the first towns that you would find as you enter this mountain would be Empiria, the city of tempered souls, a city famous for its incredible healing properties. In here, you could find ways to restore anything that you have lost, from eyesight to body parts to even aging that has been forcefully taken from you.
Bruh. Chat. Chow, yeah, bro. This is gonna become a series on the channel, bro. Get ready, bro. This is gonna be a series on the channel, bro. You say what now? So this place allows you to restore anything you might have lost. Look, they already better than the U.S. military, bro. They already better than the damn U.S. military. That's crazy.
Because of the harsh conditions of Solania, this place exists to give those who have passed through a chance at respite and rest. Quote, in addition to its doctors and healing waters, Empiria is known for public baths, excellent trail rations, and climbing gear, end quote. Out of all of the training grounds, the biggest is probably Arvina, which is where Celestials gather when they want to make fighting their whole business. The place is filled with these enormous, massive bells that chime every once in a while, dictating the passage of time for those that train in here, since, well, for those who toil here, keeping track is very important. See, you arise before the dawn for prayers and breakfast. You work and train all day, then feast and pray once more before you collapse in exhaustion. That
I like what he just said right there. Let me go back.
passage of time for those that train in here, since, well, for those who toil here, keeping track is very important. See, you arise before the dawn for prayers and breakfast. You work and train all day, then feast and pray.
So they got a routine, bro. Whoever, salute to whoever created this lore, bro. Whoever did the writing for this, because that is dope. Like, you know how many people live by that? Hey, wake up in the morning, you know what I'm saying? Get your prayer on, you feel me, before you go about your day. And then now you have a whole army right here. There's an entire nation of angelic beings or whatever, people who shared a common trait in life that reincarnated into this place, and now y'all are fighting holy wars, bro. You waking up before the crack of dawn, bro, to do prayer and eat your breakfast. It's just, you know what I'm saying? Something is very noble about that. You feel me?
Once more before you collapse in exhaustion. That is the life for every single person who resides in here. There is no rest for the armies of darkness that grow ever so stronger. The bells dictate when each part of the day ends and begins. There's also an enormous keep in here that keeps track of all of the exploits of many of the archons and proxies that reside in Mount Celestia, and this is where people would come and see how far people have gone in their quest for self-perfection. See, if you ever wanted to go and find information about a hero of the mountain or a hero of legend for the team of good, then this would be the place where you would go and find that out. There's a couple of other interesting locations in here, like for example, Renfa, the city of the sands of time. This place is a great mystery because apparently time functions odd in here. You might experience a pleasant summer, but then a spring, and then a winter, and then autumn, and then back to spring. What? Things are just kind of a little bit odd in here. See, the place is ruled by a Solar, which is, by the way, very, very rare. Solars are rarely just like chilling like this, but he has been tasked by the forces of good to guard this place as a location of great importance. The Solar, whose name is Donathiel, doesn't even understand why, and he thinks that he could be put to better use, but you know, here he is anyhow. Now, this city is kind of sick. There's a Secundus that lives in here, a rogue Modron. This is huge, by the way. I'm not sure how to pronounce it either. A Secundus Modron is basically as far as you can get as a Modron without turning into a Primus, which is the leader of all Modrons. And this guy would have been in control of basically a quarter of all of.
What the hell is a Modron, bro? Like, what is that? Long chin ass, long face ass. What the fuck?
Mechanist, but instead he became rogue and now lives here, apparently because he's experimenting on creating a bit of chaos in order to study it, which is of course heretic to Modrons. All he does is he will occasionally throw things into confusion briefly, nothing too major, but then he studies people's reactions to being confused at the commotion. Doesn't sound too major, but that was enough to kick what is essentially one of the 4 leaders of Mechanist away from the whole plane, which is kind of funny. In any case, the Modron has constructed a portal into the demiplane of time here in the city, so if you ever wanted to visit that, well, there you go. There are also archons in here who can tell you how long you have left to live. They study you and then give you clocks that show you how much time you have left in your life. They say that they do.
Well, damn, bro. Does that job pay good over there? Nigga, what? Don't tell me how I'm already in heaven. Don't tell me how long I have to live. I'm gonna assume that I can live forever, nigga. I'm already in heaven. What?
Do it in hopes that when people see how short their lives truly are, it tends to make people want to repent and seek enlightenment sooner, which is why they do it. But yeah, the whole city is just kind of like a weird mystery. And like I said before, there are many citadels and many cities in here, many of which double up as fortresses for the armies of good. But one of the most famous one is Soket-Hezi, the City of Swords. Quote, the City of Swords prides itself on preparedness, valor, and supreme martial organization. As a result, it boasts no fewer than 4 extensive walls, each guarded by its own gates and farmed into productive terraces before reaching the city proper, end quote. It is said that there are over 1,000 sword archons in here that lead over 7,777 warden archons. Now these are
God, bro, do y'all... That's a lot of soldiers, bro. Chat, that is a lot of people. That's a lot of heads. That's a lot of bodies. That is the true meaning of manpower right there, bro. And everybody is of angelic proportions, mind you.
heralded by trumpet archons who warn enemies of their impending doom. Now, when you hear the term 1,000 sword archons as a single military unit, those numbers might seem a little bit low, but remember that you can't really compare this to humans. A single sword archon could kill easily dozens or hundreds of humans. To put it into perspective, we covered the city of Brass on a previous episode where we talked about
I bet they could, bro. Then I could have sworn we must ain't got to the biology of them yet. That's probably the next video. But these things tower over humans, bro. By like they like 10 feet tall. Of course, it's taking out hundreds of humans, bro, easily.
Armies of the Sultan, who basically controls most of the Plane of Fire. His biggest army of common soldiers was about 100,000, with about 25,000 archers to support them. The numbers in general are lower than what you would expect for multi-planar warfare, but that's because each of these guys are the top dogs. Each of those 100,000 of the Sultan's army is a pure blood Ifriti. Devils are not just going to randomly throw at you an army of, say, 20,000 Erinis. Like, that's insane. In the same way as 20,000 Divas would just be completely insane. I mean, it can happen. Like I said, the Ifriti Sultan has an army like that, but that's not what you would find in a single fortress city. The city of Brass is also a bit special too, so we shouldn't really count that anyways. A normal Ifriti fortress in the Plane of Fire, for example, houses about 1,000 Ifriti, to give you an idea. So yeah, anyways, having almost 10,000 high-powered planar archons in a single fortress city is kind of an enormous deal. These guys are apparently hotshots too, since they have invaded Mechanus, Acheron, and the Nine Hells a few times, and you can actually find a few famous artifacts in the city that they have taken from other planes. Now you might be wondering, if all around what you can see is endless plains and citadels, then how do you climb to the next mountain? I mean, there must be something to climb up to, right? Well, yep, though it is very bizarre. See, the Lord describes parts of the plains of Merchion to be filled with these bizarre-looking black domes. Like literally just enormous, completely round black orbs. Nobody knows what they are or where they came from, but to get to the next mountain, you're supposed to climb them. Some of them even have stairs that have been etched into them by travelers over the eons, while others have these enormous footprints marked into them, which leads people to believe that the gods originally must have climbed them as well to get above. Some of these orbs are so huge that they have trees growing in them and everything. Jovar, the glittering heaven. Now, starting from here, the information gets...
And then they say, this still Mount Celestial. But this just goes to show you, even the gods have no power over Mount Celestial. And Tiamat, but goddamn Bahamut, bro, had a connection that is really unheard of, bro, for him to be able to create what he created out of that place with no disturbance and no rejection at all, meaning the mountain just accepted it. I don't know. And in the gods in fiction, they are seen as more folly, bro. They're more prideful, more disrespectful. So that's probably, you know what I'm saying, why they can't run that place like they would just run any other civilization, or like they can't just take over that place like they would Earth, because humans don't know no better.
It's a bit dry. We don't really have that much on these mountains here because, well, not many get to make it here. Or should I say, I mean, of course, throughout the eons, many have made it here. I mean, the multiverse is, close to infinite when you think about it. So yeah, there are countless archons and planar travelers that make it this far in Mount Celestia, but consider that those that make it here probably don't want to leave. If you are so illuminated and have reached the levels of enlightenment required to make it here, you probably don't want to go back to Waterdeep to spread the news of how it looks like. You also probably don't want to keep exploring the mountain and instead try and find a way to reach the end. For this and many reasons, the mountain is a big enigma, but this is what we know. Jovar is called the glittering heaven because everything is encrusted in beautiful gems of all kinds of colors. I mean, like literally the floors, the hills, the trees, the mountains, it's all just encrusted with billions of crystals and radiant gems. It is said too that there really isn't a sky either, that there is a ceiling far up ahead that is also encrusted in gems. The whole layer is described as being something of a large, kind of like a celestial vault. The main location of the mountains is Jetsira, the heavenly city, which you can literally see from any location within the mountain because of how shiny it is. Quote, visible from 100 miles away, the sparkling lights of the heavenly city never dim. The city is a 7-layered ziggurat. An enormous staircase on each of its 4 faces connects the layers, which are called terraces. The 7th terrace is the lowest layer. Jetsira's tiniest details are fashioned for a purpose. Each stone is perfect. Each construction somehow so complete, it seems eternal. End quote. The ziggurat is the last thing, the very last thing before you reach the end, for the entrance into the 7th mountain of Mount Celestia lies at the top. Quote, on the lowest terrace sits the Exchequer of Souls, a black marble building of graceful arches and onion domes laced with threads of gold and silver. Here, powerful archons weigh the virtues of lower archons, elevating the worthy to higher forms. The Radiant Arsenal on the 4th terrace is a long, narrow building with a vaulted ceiling and extensive cellars. Here, weapons, both magic and mundane, are stored to arm the Archon hosts if necessary. The most important weapons are said to contain the essence of powerful archons. They reside in pearl-lined vaults sealed by deity-scribed glyphs. The bridge of Alzehal on the 7th highest terrace is a beam of blinding light. This is the portal to the 7th heaven, Cronius, and it is guarded by a solar named Zerona who turns aside the unworthy. End quote. The heavenly city is protected by 12,000 sword archons alongside a powerful solar named Orithiel. This city is filled with an uncountable number of archons and travelers who are trying their best to reach the last mountain, and nobody really knows what it is to be found at the end, which of course is Cronius, the illuminated heaven.
I imagine going to any of these places, chat, it would feel absolutely overwhelming, bro. Like the energies, just the pure vibe, bro, would just be overwhelming. Like senses overload, bro.
I hope that I'm not disappointing you when I say this, and I'm not trying to be dramatic here either. But the sad thing is that actually, well, nobody knows what's in here. And those that find this place never come back. The only entity on record in the multiverse that has ever come back would be Safkiel. I'm not actually even sure if any of the gods have actually seen the tip of this mountain either, since the lore states that they don't know what Safkiel is up to in here. Something that Safkiel itself is an avatar of the 7th mountain. The common story that archons and gods will tell you is that when you reach the tip of the mountain, you then become part of the mountain. But that's it. That's like all we know. Casters who cast divination magic are told that it is a place of pure joy and oneness with the gods, a place where sorrow cannot enter, a place to leave bards speechless and sages sightless. But those divination spells would be fueled to the casters by their gods or other sources that might not even know themselves what's in there. The truth of the tip of the mountain will probably never be known. Who really is Safkiel? What does he do in there? And why even the gods cannot gaze upon this heaven? Remember, this mountain is older than the gods. They're powerless against it. They can't see in it. They might not even be able to get in it. And we will never know the truth of the matter.
Bro, he just gonna leave us off on that mysterious ass cliffhanger, bro. Oh, this heaven right here is just unaccessible. Nobody knows. So what? You just get there, nigga, and you just get fused with the heaven. You don't get to talk to whoever living there or nothing. Yeah, hella mysterious, man. Hella mysterious. Let's go to the next one. This might be our last. What time is it? We'll see. Scroll. All right, we're gonna go to what they don't tell you about the abyss. Yeah, we're gonna do that one.
Targaryens are gone.
Bro, don't nobody care about no Game of Thrones, bro.
Unlike the Nine Hells, which has a set and defined number of layers and locations, the Abyss is infinite, a never-ending realm of chaos and demons. It is the most inhospitable place in the entirety of the multiverse. But what are...
Yeah, Michael, he just left us off on that cliffhanger, like right there. Like, what happens when you get to the final heaven at the top of the mountain? What happens? You just cease to exist? Like, come on, bro. Where's my award or something? Can I talk to God? Like, man. Did I play this video yet, bro? I don't think I did.
Its secrets? Why and how is it infinite? What truly lies in the deepest nether regions of this abyssal land? Is Demogorgon truly its ruler, or is there something else that governs from the shadows? A primordial force from times long past. Today, we will uncover the beginnings of the Abyss, its history, its legacy, and what lies deep at the heart of this infinite landscape of doom. But before we do that, I am incredibly happy to announce a project that I have been finally able to complete. This here is a PDF that I have personally written called What They Don't Tell You About Dragon Hordes. It took me months to get this thing here ready for you guys, but I am extremely happy with how it came out. The art is gorgeous, and I managed to put into writing so many ideas that Dragons just was not simply giving us. And you guys know me, I care a lot about creature biology, and one of the biggest asks for Fistbank's Treasury of Dragons, which is a dragon book coming out soon, was to have dragon harvesting. But they, of course, coolest things that I have ever created. Otherworldly patron, the Great Worm. It's actually sick. You get to turn into a half dragon at the end of it, following a ritual where you bathe in dragon blood, which is a real thing, by the way, in D&D lore. You can find the PDF right here. It should be just right below the video that you're watching right now. You can click this here, and it'll take you to the Teespring store where you can buy it. It is a digital download, so they will send you the PDF through your email when you purchase it. It'll, of course, mean the world to me if you check it out and buy it. It really does help the channel a lot, and I would greatly appreciate it. But now, on to the video. The politics and intricate fractional differences between the inhabitants of the lower realms can be lost on many adventurers. Devils and demons are vastly different creatures. Devils are creatures of law who inhabit the Nine Hells. They are strict, organized, and rule-abiding fiends. Demons, on the other hand, are creatures of chaos. They are instinctual, decentralized, power-hungry fiends. The devils are governed by strict hierarchies. Demons are ruled by strength. These distinctions are the first things any good and studious planner theorist will learn, but things get a bit more complicated than that. See, the word demon is most often used to describe the race of creatures which live in the abyss. But see, demon is not actually a race. If anything, it might be best used as a nationality of sorts. If you live in the abyss, you are a demon. If you're molded and influenced by the abyss, you are demonic. But within this spectrum lies already a vast number of different creatures which belong to different groups. There are demons that used to be angels, for example, and those who used to be devils. By far the most populous kind of demon that exists are the ones we call Tanari, because Tanari are the demons that are born from humanoid souls. When a human soul finds its way into the abyss, it turns into a larva, which eventually turns into a mane or into another kind of Tanari demon. These are the demons you know.
Man, fuck that, man. Fuck all of that. No. No, bro. You start off as a bug, chat. Understand, you start off as a bug. Whereas to when you in heaven, good aligned heaven, you probably gonna be a orb of energy or something. I'd rather be just an orb of pure energy than to start off as a fucking centipede creature. I ain't lying, man. So I'm straight on that, bro.
Baylors, the Barlguras, the Marilids, those are all Tanari demons because they come from humanoid souls. But within all those demons you know, there are some that are a bit more different. Demons that are unique. Demons that are older than most other demons. These are the Ogrettes, who do not come from humanoid souls. They are not devils or angels either, so the question is, where did they come from? Well, they are the ones that turned the abyss into what it is today, and so our story takes us to them, and for that, we're going to go back. Far, far back to the very dawn of time as we know it. In an entirely different multiverse lived this group of creatures called the Ogrettes. They are described as being revolting, like the very nature of their existence exudes wrongness. They don't have a defined...
What's good, Keon29, bro? What's happening with you? What's going on, man?
shape, and each particular Ogret is unique. Most of them share features similar to that of insects and crustaceans, but formed in all the wrong ways to the point that even just gazing at them could make a person go...
So the Ogrettes are essentially chaotic monstrosities, bro. Like, Abomination, nigga. They have the look like they got parts of animals that should not ever go together ever, nigga. Like ever.
Mad. Overwraith had dominated their multiverse and effectively had caused it to die. With the last lights of their worlds diminishing, the race started to go extinct, and so they planned a way in which to effectively hop into a new dimension so as to conquer it and continue on existing. For this, they created a shard of pure evil, made with the souls and essences of probably billions of their own race. This shard had effectively the power to unmake entire realities. The power of the shard allowed it to hop dimensions, but the shard itself had to be planted by a creature of power on the other side for the Overwraiths to be able to use it as a portal, and so they devised a trap. The Overwraiths, using the power of the shard of pure evil, enthralled and corrupted a god in our dimension, a god who you might actually be acquainted with, Tharizdun. It's easy to miss, but he shows up in Princess of the Apocalypse. And Tharizdun is the real persona of the entity that you might
Damn, they done put him in a damn Dulo twist, bro. Go ahead and tell the SVS story, man.
know as the Elder Elemental Evil. But regardless, back then he was just a god who desired for more, and so he fell for the call of the Overwraiths. All Tharizdun needed to do was grab the shard of pure evil and plant it in the center of the astral plane. This would have activated the power of the shard and corrupted the astral with evil, spreading in all directions and corrupting the whole of the multiverse, from which the Overwraiths would then have been able to transport from. Instead, Tharizdun betrayed the Overwraiths and attempted to consume the power of the shard for himself and carved his own realm deep within the primordial soup of the elemental chaos. By Tharizdun activating the power of the shard, it allowed the Overwraiths to use it as a portal like they had planned, but instead of the shard corrupting all of reality, its power was fueling a god, and so the Overwraiths found themselves fighting this god for control over the shard. The corrupting powers of the artifact had been used on the elemental chaos, and now creating plane after plane after plane with it at its center, and so was the primordial abyss formed. Even though things were not going according to plan, the Overwraith dimension was collapsing, and so they had no choice but to completely abandon their worlds and move on to this new dimension, even if it meant fighting this all-power-hungry god for it. Eventually, after eons of combat, the Overwraiths were proving victorious in their conquest, and from the hordes of demons, one managed to collect the shard, and the one who would become the very first demon prince. The Overwraith's name was Obox Ob. As he obtained the shard, he collected unparalleled power from it, and so the plan continued.
Bro, what the hell is that? I can't even tell you what that thing is, bro. Cutting edge. I don't even know how to identify this. Where is the head and
to plant the shard of pure evil into the heart of the astral plane, for if he succeeded, he would be able to control all of reality and become the overlord of this dimension. But demons do as demons do. And one thing that you will learn from this story is that generally a demon's greatest threat is not those from without, but instead those from within. Demons fight demons, and that started with the Overwraiths as well. Many opposed Obox Ob from leaving the abyss and planting the shard into the astral. Power-hungry demons that they are, they wanted the power for themselves. Hordes of demons and primordials battled against Obox Ob until they managed to fling him and the shard right into the vortex from which the abyss had been spawned. This vortex, however, did not lead any more into the original dimension of the Overwraiths, since that reality had already collapsed by this point. And so, instead, the vortex created a massive fissure into reality. The shard fell into this vortex, further and further down, creating what we call the Grand Abyss. And many of the most powerful Overwraiths and primordials dove down into the vortex to claim the shard, but the farther down they went, the weaker they became. Eventually, Demon Lord after Demon Lord would stop going down into the Grand Abyss, fearing for their lives as their energies were being drained. And since that moment, even the most powerful of Demon Lord had stopped.
So it looked like these motherfuckers fight for their life to not be at the bottom of the abyss. Because at the very bottom of the abyss is some creatures down there that exist way before them that is feeding off of their energies, bro. So even it's like when you think you're the biggest bad, no, there is somebody that's way worse than you. Way, way worse.
The search for the shard of pure evil, in fears of what they may find at the deepest bottom of the vortex, and the shard simply burrowed ever so deep into the deepest foundations of chaos. To give you an idea of just how powerful this shard is, Asmodeus, the now Lord and ruler of the Nine Hells, has a single powerful magical artifact, the Ruby Rod, which you of course know. It is believed that the ruby on the rod has a very small fragment of the Shard of Pure Evil in it, and this shard gave him the power he needed to oust the last ruler of the Nine Hells, kill him, and erase his memory from existence. And further now, he uses the rod with a fragment in there to basically control all other devils. In any case, life settled on the Abyss, and the Overage reigned supreme. Most of the darker sections of the Abyss were still far too dangerous for even the Overage to contend with, and so most of them lived in the first layer, known as Pesunia, or the Plane of Infinite Portals. It was in here that they formed their cities and their massive citadels. Many of the pits on this layer opened to portals which led deeper into the sections of the Abyss, and so Overage would construct their citadels on these pits in order to control the comings and goings of demons throughout the realm. They also underwent a massive project to dig and further open this Grand Abyss, which is the biggest pit where the Shard of Pure Evil fell. They built bridges and fortifications throughout the upper sections of the Grand Abyss in order to control more of the many portals which open in this section. They figured that control over the means of transportation through the layer meant control over the realm, which held true for eons. The problem was, Tharizdun was not fully defeated, and he had a plan. Tharizdun knew that he could not contend with the full might of the Overage on his own, and so he formulated a plan to enlist the help of both primordials and elementals. He did this by assuming a new identity, one known as the Elder Elemental Evil, where he convinced these primordials were already pretty upset at the gods for taking over the multiverse, that if they could obtain the Shard of Pure Evil, they could potentially defeat the gods. And so a massive army of primordials and elementals was formed, which inevitably ended up forming into the war, which we today know as the Dawn War, the war between the gods and the primordials. This war was pretty massive, and most of what transpired in there is not actually part of this video, but it is one of the most important historical moments of Dungeons & Dragons lore. The part that interests this video comes when the gods realized who was behind the movement, which was Tharizdun, and so they ended up imprisoning him. Thing is, this did not really fully end the conflict. The great war between law and chaos had begun, and on the side of chaos, the Abyss was right in its center. After more eons of conflict, a particularly important Overage started to take center stage, the one who would be known as the Queen of Chaos, for she discovered
All these goddamn key figures, bro. All of these different components to it, bro. Just what you think, bro. You got one bad guy, and you got a bro. It's this is like the SVS sector in their true forms, bro. If you just gave them a place to be on their own, bro, this is what happened, bro. Like they just gonna form their own little ecosystem, bro. Full of dirty, scheming motherfuckers. Creatures of darkness, hobgoblins and shit, blister blacks.
a new truth about reality that was about to change the way this war was fought and would change the Abyss forever. See, mortal life started to form on the material plane, and the Queen discovered that when these mortals died and their souls made it into the Abyss, a new type of demon was being created, the Tanari. The Queen cultivated this.
Hell, bro. See, bro. Now they trying to corrupt humans. She's seen that humans are dying, and then I'm assuming that's the worst of society. When you go to the Abyss, automatically just go to hell straight off the bat, bro. Nah. These demons remind me of Bobby's henchman, Demon Yukon. Remember him? Oh yeah, bro. Oh yeah. But like, y'all influencing the humans too, bro. You see this shit, man.
New breed of demons using the Overage flesh warpers to grant them different shapes depending on the need. It is believed that the very first Tanari demon born was Demogorgon, who the Queen discarded for being deformed and uncontrollable. Some of the most famous Tanari shapes that you know nowadays come from the transformations that the Queen of Chaos enacted upon these creatures on their nascent days. And you can even see that some Tanari demons were given shapes similar to that of the Overage, like the Glabresus, who show crustacean features. With this new, seemingly endless source of souls which you could turn into demons, the Queen of Chaos was preparing to take the conflict between law and chaos onto the next level. She started amassing forces in the millions, consolidating power between the Overage and conquering layer after layer on the Abyss. In order to do this, she delivered a surprise attack onto Obox Ob, the Prince of Demons, who was still very much alive. She needed to send a message. If you were not with her, you were against her, and her sudden strike proved to be fortuitous. She defeated Obox Ob and destroyed most of its form, leaving only a small and weakened vestige left which scurried into the deepest bowels of the darkness. The Queen of Chaos was very clever. Now, with Obox Ob out of the picture, all the Overids realized that if she had the power to end such a powerful creature, no one could stand against her. Further, she allowed a Tenari demon that was loyal to her, one named Miska the Wolf Spider, to absorb the essence and title of Prince of Demons, ensuring the loyalty of all Tenari demons.
Man, if I was in this universe, bro, I would just act as a straight up exterminator, bro. I already had made a character, nigga, that would just come from the heavens, bro, on some exterminator shit. We just gonna burn everything. We gonna burn it all down, nigga. We finna get rid of every one of y'all. This he's mixed with a spider, bro. Understand, bro, this makes my skin crawl. I couldn't be around nothing like this, bro. I would be a heavy advocate, bro. We need to get rid of them. I don't care that they exist in the abyss. They still around, bro. They still alive. They got to go, nigga. Fuck that.
Simultaneously obtaining a powerful lieutenant to fight for her. The Abyss was rallied behind the Queen of Chaos. The armies started to march, and what came after almost unraveled creation, as the multiverse will have never seen the likes of the war that was about to unfold. The battle between law and chaos was about to reach its end. With the Prince of Demons at her side, the scale was tipped against law. Miska's savage demon hordes brought territory and converts, particularly in the material plane, and even the gods seemed hard-pressed to stop them from taking the astral sea. World after world fell, and with each loss for law, the once immutable rules of the cosmos became fluid and forgotten. Chaos was ascending, the abyss going with it, and all seemed lost until a fateful battle at the fields of Pesh ended the eon-long conflict. On the material plane world of Oerth, one rich with magic and possibility, in the shadows of the mighty volcano known as the White Plume Mountain, a final battle against the agents of order known as the Wind Dogs of Aqua commenced. The battle was said to have spanned the astral plane, but in the end, using a powerful artifact called the Rod of Law, the Wind Dogs imprisoned Miska in the plane of Pandemonium, causing the forces of chaos to scatter and retreat. The demons retreated back to the abyss, including the Queen of Chaos, who now found herself with her
The plane of Pandemonium. Hey, bro, we is getting into some mystique, mystical, all of that, nigga, territory.
Her armies decimated and the Alliance left in shambles. Fortunately for them, the power of law is weak in the realm of chaos. No angel who values their lives would find themselves in the abyss. Such would be suicide. Their power would weaken and their flesh would corrupt. No matter the size of the army, they would surely find death within the realm of chaos. And so,
Bro, so you're telling me even as an angel, nigga, sent by God or whichever God, because there are plenty. You have the OG God is still in this verse, the OG God who literally made the other gods and the angels and everything that trickle down. You are an angel, and even if you go to hell, bro, even with an army of your bros, you know what I'm saying, your homie that you knew for 1,000 years, still just being there is going to weaken you, bro, and corrupt your flesh. What type of mess is that, man? What type of mess is that, nigga? So where are we going, like, when the war happened, like, where is the mutual battleground, bro? If I'm gonna get weakened and I'm supposed to be everything good, like, damn, nigga. And then you see tears to the feet right here, nigga. Yeah, he like, yeah, you done came down here with us, nigga. You like, yeah, you down here with us now. I'm down here for emancipating.
would find true defeat not from law, but from chaos itself. The fairy queen of the Court of Stars, Morwell, sensed weakness within the ranks of the Overids and decided that now was the time to strike. The Eladrin, the celestial elves from Arvoria, went to war. Being chaotic creatures, they were resistant to the detrimental effects of the abyss and sent their celestial armies to rain down upon Pasunia. The Eladrin Knights devastated the powerful force.
So the Eladrin are more, so they are basically celestial elves, bro. They are elves who have a special connection to nature and magic and shit.
Fortresses of the Overits and systematically decimated them by controlling the first layer, which had access to all the portals leading into many of the deeper realms. Ironically, however, it was not the Eladrin who delivered the final nail in the coffin of the Overits. Instead, it was the Tanar'ri demons, who up until this point had been slaves to the power of the Overits. The Tanar'ri demons finally sensed it was their time to rebel against their masters, and in a massive realm-wide revolt, the Tanar'ri finished off most of the remaining Overits as they attempted to escape the wrath of the Eladrin. This was the end for the Overits. The never-ending swarm of Tanar'ri demons coming from the deepest bowels of the abyss were just too much for even the Eladrin to handle, and so they were also repelled, and for the first time in existence, the Tanar'ri ruled the abyss. The few surviving Overits that still exist to this day do so by keeping their real personas secret, making sure to hide any and all trace of their Overit descent. Others maintain their safety by working directly with Tanar'ri demon lords. Dagon, for example, a powerful seer, gives Demogorgon knowledge in exchange for protection. Others, like the Pale Knight, allegedly became a consort to Baphomet, even if just for a while. Pazuzu allied with the Tanar'ri and has been able to keep his descent mostly a secret. Obuck's Up still lives, a fraction of the grand creature he used to be, skulking ever so weak like a maggot clinging to life. The Queen of Chaos retreated to the 14th layer of the Abyss, called the Steaming Fend, where she still plots to this day for a way to free Miska and restart the war once again. With the Overits out of the picture, the Tanar'ri demons quickly fell into infighting, as demons always do, in a bid to find who amongst them were to become the new Prince of Demons. From the murky shadows of the abyss, the first Tanar'ri ever born, the one discarded by the Queen of Chaos eons ago, had risen into a powerful behemoth. Demogorgon would then go on to claim this title and rule over demons even to this day. The war between law and chaos would never end, however, as since the dawn of time, the two conflicting principles would seek to
That
end.
nigga is mixed with a what is that? What do you call that monkey, bro? Is it a I can't think of it right now, bro. Oh yeah, baboon, bro. It has the heads of two baboons, bro, and snake arms, bro. Like, how do you come up with that, nigga? What the fuck? And then you say he's a behemoth too, bro. This nigga too overpowered.
Each other until the end of existence. From the battle between primordials versus gods, to the battles between the Overits and the Celestials, to the modern version of this conflict, which now takes on the form of the Blood War, the conflict between the devils and the demons. A conflict which will war ab nauseam. And throughout all of this, the seed of evil that spawned the Abyss simply cleaves its way through the cosmos, steadily increasing the Abyss's size even as other forces act against it. Unseen and unstoppable, its whispers urging demons to destroy, promising ultimate power to the one who could conquer all of the Abyss, something not even the Overits once came close to doing. The few remaining Overits have made a secret pact that if any of them ever were to claim the Shard, they would all work together this time and bring the Shard to the Astral and finally lay claim to this reality. It is said that if they were to ever seize the Shard, then not even the alliance of the multiverse's mightiest beings would be able to oppose them, as their horrific shapes would resurge and spread across the cosmos once more.
Oh hell no!
Thank you guys so much for watching. Of course, make sure to.
That was a good one. All right, bro. We're gonna do one more, bro. I'm actually tired. Yeah, what they don't tell you about 9th level spells. This is the last one we're gonna do, then we're gonna get up out of here.
Need a place to play D&D online for free? We've got that.
Nah,
Easily
bro,
plan your
good,
next
bro.
session from anywhere with Roll20, a free virtual tabletop where you can simply drag, drop.
Astral, lost, in my mind, or someone else's. Shadows creep all around me, or thoughts I have never had, and
What's good?
spells
Hype
I've
in the
never
building.
cast. Magic.
Say you got work late today, man. Nah, man, gotta get that bread, man. Gotta chase that dollar, bro. Ooh. Appreciate that cash out, bro. Appreciate you for the cash out, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. people be saying weird ass shit. I just read a comment in my replies. What the fuck people be on, bro?
Remnants. Does it work? Or am I betrayed? Shadows creep all around me of things I have never seen, words I have never spoken. Escape. Found. Is it real? Or again, illusion? Shadows creep all around me of choices I have never made and lives I have never lived. Poem found scrawled on a wall in sigil, near a portal to the astral plane. Today, we're going to talk about magic in the astral, though specifically about astral projection in our last video for our small series on the astral plane. One of the most powerful spells in a wizard's arsenal, it is one of the few level 9 spells that exist, but why is it so powerful? How on earth can astral projection even stand on the same ground as wish or shape change? But oh, you will certainly see right after we talk about our sponsor today. This video is brought to you by Dungeons of Dragonheim, a new Kickstarter that just came out. Dungeons of Dragonheim is a 5th edition campaign for characters 1 to 13 within range. Project your astral bodies into the astral plane. The material body. Now, back to the video. The astral projection spell is a 9th level necromancy spell. It used to be alteration, with a 1-hour cast time and basically sort of infinite duration. It goes like this. You and up to 8 willing creatures within range project your astral bodies into the astral plane. The material body you leave behind is unconscious and in a state of suspended animation. It doesn't need food or air and does not age. Your astral body resembles your mortal form in almost every way, replicating your game statistics and possessions. The principal difference is the addition of a silvery cord that extends from between your shoulder blades and trails behind you, fading to invisibility after 1 foot. This cord is your tether into the material body. As long as the tether remains intact, you can find your way home. If the cord is cut, something that can happen only when an effect specifically states that it does, your soul and body are separated, killing you instantly. Your astral form can freely travel through the astral plane and can pass through portals there leading to any other plane. If you enter a new plane or return to the plane you were on when you cast a spell, your body and possessions are transported along the silvery cord, allowing you to re-enter your body.
So essentially, this is basically like astral projection in real life and how we talk about it. Just throwing your spirit out there and then just be roaming around and interacting with whatever, which is some of the scariest shit I ever heard of in my life.
As you enter the new plane. A little confusing, but we'll get there. Your astral form is a separate incarnation from your real form. Any damage or other effects that apply to it have no effect on your physical body, nor do they persist when you return to it. And the spell ends for you and your companions when you use
you know
your
what, chat? I think I'm gonna just end this right here because I'm tired, bro. I'm hot. I'm tired. I need to stand up and stretch. Yeah. So, what do you call this? I don't know if I should call this a part 1 or what. Whatever, I'll just call it a part 1, whatever. But salute to everybody that came in, chat, man. Hit the like button, yo. Appreciate the cash apps, you feel me? Appreciate all y'all for coming and listening in. Make sure y'all catch that replay too, man. Don't be afraid of getting them comments, man. Make sure you get in the comments. Hey, I like hearing feedback, you know what I'm saying? How did I do on the video, you know what I'm saying? What did you think about what we reacted to? Did you learn anything, you know what I'm saying? I like hearing feedback, so y'all make sure y'all do that for your boy. And I'll catch y'all next time, man. Peace.